What's up, everyone? So, the Kenya Basketball Premier League new season kicked off about a month ago. We're just 1.5 months in, and a few couple of games have been played. Teams are just reestablishing their dominance, their positions in the rankings. And in this video, I'll just take a deep dive in the Women's Premier League side, where we are seeing the defending champions KPA up 5 games. They are 5-0. They're yet to take a loss, and also just following them just right behind the ZTEC Sparks team, 5-0 as well, position 2. Both teams are tied by 10 points. Then the Equity Hawks, 4 wins, 2 losses. UN Dynamite's 3 wins, 1 loss. They played 4 games. The Equity Hawks played 6 games. So yeah, just getting a sense of how the league is gonna pan out. The Strathmore Swords, 2 wins, 3 losses out of 5 games played. The Eldonets, the newcomers, the new team on the block in the Premier League, they won the Div 1 title, and they had to go through the Jacob Lynx, and right now they're not looking good as they only have 1 win in 4 losses. The Storms team, they're trying to get back in there. They've really had a rough start in 5 games played. The only win I believe they won was with Eagle Wings, and it wasn't look good. It wasn't a good look to see them start this season off like this. They've lost to the heavyweights of the. They've lost to the heavyweight teams. They've lost to KPA in their first game of the season. They went down when they matched up with the Equity Hawks. It wasn't a good outing. Even with the ZTEC Sparks side, they were not able to get over that. But man, they have to like at least get things together. Then you have the Anu Panthers, 4 games played, 1 win, 3 losses. They're tied with Eagle Wings, who have the same result, 1 win, 3 losses. Jacob Lynx, the newcomers who got promoted, they made the finals. Not looking good on their side. 1 win, 2 losses. The Kisumu Ladybucks yet to win a game out of 2 games played. Oh, Jacob Lynx played 3 games. So the Kisumu Ladybucks, they're yet to win a game. They're 2 losses. They played 2 games. They lost both games. And KU Oryx only played 1 game, and they only have 1 win. So looking at the way last season panned out, you could see KPA, just the dominant side. They met the Equity Hawks in the finals. They finished them off in 4 games. It was actually a very entertaining series. You looking at it from game 1 with that epic game winner by Betty Kananu for the Equity Hawks. At the time, she hit that, and they stunned the. They just stunned the Equity Hawks. Just stunned the KPA Dockers team. But where the table just turned as game 2, 3, and 4, the KPA Dockers just put their foot down and just won it, led by Natalie and her team. And looking at the way the wins that they had even in the free agency, you saw Jemima Knight. She left the Storms team to join the KPA, making the offense really strong. It was just a very good thing to watch. Then also the Storms team, they were not able to retain the services of Ashley, as Ashley left and joined the ZTEC Sparks. Although the ZTEC Sparks are winning, they're winning right now. We are yet to see them at least beat a team like KPA. They've shown what they could do against an Equity Hawks team, and they really stand. They've got their payback as well with that that semis exit. Remember, in the last postseason, the Equity Hawks swept the ZTEC Sparks, and they just look towards that matchup this season, and they did deliver. They had the most wild start in the season, in the game. They just started hitting back-to-back threes, hitting those layups, transition points. They just did what they had to do to at least get that win, and it was actually a spectacular game, especially for the ZTEC Sparks side. When you look at a team like the Storms team, they did some retooling. They signed a couple of key free agents. They got LC in there. They got Terry. They got some very good solid players also. Didi, she left the Storms team to join with the Equity Hawks. So you could see right now it's kind of just balanced. We're just waiting to see how these rosters are gonna prepare. But the slow start for the Storms team, you can just say it's just about the players just getting to know each other on the court so that they can be able to gel pretty well. KPA didn't do much retooling as they got Belinda from the Equity Hawks. They had a good free agency. ZTech Sparks as well. They did some retooling of their own. The UO and Dynamites. They're just trying to pick up what they left off in the first round as they got eliminated by the Storms. So they got 3 wins, 1 loss, and 7 points, ranked position 4 above the Strathmore Swords, the Eldonets, the Storms. And it's actually going to be an entertaining season to watch, especially for KPA. We're just trying to see how the KPA Dockers are going to match up with all these other teams throughout the season, because KPA actually won up the Equity Hawks. They got their finals rematch. Also, almost forgot to mention that they did a number on the Equity Hawks. They blew them out emphatically. I mean, it just came in so dominant. It was just back-to-back L's for the Equity Hawks, and it wasn't a good look because in the semis they met up with ZTech. They met up with ZTech this season, and ZTech just did some damage. It actually stunned them because that's a game that the odds were in the Equity Hawks side, and the ZTech Sports just came in and just dominated that game. And also back to back in the span of the same weekend, they made KPA, and bam, it was game over for the Equity Hawks. So they just have to find a way to bounce back from that loss. And also the Storms team, they had to find a way to rack up consistent wins, especially with no new players in that roster. The Anu Panthers, they have to find a way to back to the playoffs because they made the playoffs last postseason, but they lost to the Equity Hawks. So that's one thing that they need to look at. Also, Eagle Wings made the postseason, but they got swept by the ZTech Sparks. So they have to look at least making it past the first round. And not much expectations on the Eldonets side. This is their first season in the Premier League. They just have to take it slow and try to find a consistent way to be able to mount an offense, especially led by Stacey Ongwai at the helm. She was actually one of the key contributing factors as to why the Eldonets won that finals, because she averaged 21 points per game. She actually came out and she took that team past the finals and to the Premier League. So we just have to wait and see how that performance is going to pan out throughout the tough women's side, because when you have teams like KPA, ZTech, Equity Hawks, UN Dynamite, Strathmore Swords, who are not going to back down to anyone, and so it's just going to be more interesting to see. And this is just my guide to the Women's Premier League. There's a lot of excitement going into it, especially going into this season. A lot of teams made some key moves to be able to retool. Others chose to rebuild. So we just have to wait and see. And okay, apologies for using the last season's footage. Whoopie Sport will cover this whole regular season, hopefully by God's grace, and also maybe the postseason we can have something new coming in, new teams coming in, new faces in the postseason. But I expect those top teams, KPA, ZTech, Equity, just to make and mount the noise, make the serious noise that they've been making. And also the sleeper teams, they can come in, they can just come out of nowhere and just click maybe in the mid-season. So we just have to wait and see about that. And yeah, man, the Women's Premier League is back and everything is just going in full cylinders. We have the best inside here, so Just looking forward to how this whole season is going to pan out. I'll be following up with a couple of more videos looking at the men's Premier League, just to get my 2 cents on it. And yeah, I'm out. I'm gonna see you in the next upload.